My amplified unit. How you doing, huh? Hopefully you guys are rocking out on this, well, depending on when you're getting this amplification. Thursday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you guys are rocking out, staying amplified, whooping that ass. Salute to every single one of my amp unit members, man. We are going to go all out. No pun intended, Tony Khan. But we are going to go all out in this podcast because it is a packed podcast, amped up for 4/27/2023. We're going to talk Naomi out of WWE officially, starting with her new company this weekend. Not so fast. A little bit of intricate details we got to go over before we get to this weekend. But we're going to talk all about this breaking Naomi news. Trinity Fatu. Talk all about it in this podcast, man. A lot to go over there. A new talent arrives in AEW. Headlines say he shocked the world Wednesday night on Dynamite. Did this new debut for AEW, did he truly shock the world, or was it just a situation in the world? Was it just a wrestling debut in the world? Did it truly shock the world? I don't know. We're going to talk about Roddy Strong showing up in AEW. We'll talk all about it. We'll talk about fan displeasure, fan befuddlement over the ending of AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday night. Depending on when you're watching this, last night, as of the recording of this Amped Up podcast, befuddlement of how we ended up with the same Double or Nothing main event that we had a couple of weeks ago before we started this little mini tournament. We're going to talk all about it. We'll talk NXT Spring Breakin, their big event that they held this past Tuesday night on the USA Network. And the only question when it went off the air is, did it come through numbers-wise in the ratings? We understand they're going against sports competition, NBA playoffs. We understand every wrestling show right now is going against competition of some sort. It's up to you, the promoter, to put together your best package, your best show, so that fans need to tune into your product as much as possible. At least have the remote in their hand so they can keep pressing the last channel. It'll bump up your rating. So I don't use sporting events, not even playoffs. And trust me, my Knicks, after what seems like 100,000 years, are finally back in the playoffs. We actually just won against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we're going to the next round. So I understand how important they are. It's still your job to collect fan interest. If numbers go down drastically, you have nobody to blame but yourself if you're a promoter on national TV with a primetime slot. No, you should not be blaming NBA playoffs or NFL football. No. What are you going to blame? Badminton next? World Chess Championships? The Monopoly Finals? Stop it. So did NXT produce? If not, they are held accountable. You might be shocked, you may not be. BC has the number. What NXT Spring Breakin did this week. We're going to talk all about it. And we have to talk about the lawsuit that WWE is currently facing. Now, every single day they face new ones, right? I mean, they have a legal team that's probably into the dozens, probably 100 plus. But their main teams are probably a few dozen lawyers. And Vince hates lawyers, by the way. But WWE is hit with a different lawsuit every time they wake up, turn the corner, go get a coffee. There's a new lawsuit waiting for Vince McMahon in World Wrestling Entertainment. This one's a little bit different, though, because it's kind of scathing in detail. It kind of makes the company look really, really bad, to the point where the company has already announced they are not going to comment on this. Usually they'll come out with something bogus, right? Or something to kind of defend themselves a little bit, like there are no basis on these grounds of the lawsuit, therefore we will fight it to the full extent. Whatever. They come up with something just to shut everybody up for a while. They made a comment saying that they're not going to comment. I don't know if they think this is just so outrageous, these claims, and they're going to debunk this quickly in court, Or are they now like, oh shit, we got something big here and we're going to have to put together a gigantic case. This is going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money. BC is going to go over this lawsuit with you. And this is going to be interesting because I have not read this yet, guys. No bullshitting. I have not read this at all. I'm going to read it for the first time on air in this podcast. So that segment, when we get to that later in the podcast, that might be a shit fest. I may be stumbling over words, trying to comprehend it as I'm reading, but I have not read it yet, guys. So that's going to be an interesting segment when we go over that later. And I'm going to tell you my true feelings on this because this is a heavy report from what I'm hearing, a heavy lawsuit. We'll talk about that. A lot to get to, a little bit of time to get over it. So we're going to start right now, amped up with BC for 4/27/23. Let's get amplified. Ah, yes. Salute. Thank you again, Unit, for choosing the BC Amplified channel to be entertained, to talk pro wrestling, maybe gain some knowledge. Appreciate you guys very much. We're here to show the world. Here to show the world. Come on. Who's that? Dolph Ziggler, guys. You know that. Theme music. You wouldn't know the way they use Dolph Ziggler is criminal in this company. He's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. I truly feel that way. Along with Dustin Rhodes, believe it or not, over in AEW. They just, man, if I was booking Dustin Rhodes and Dolph Ziggler and so many others, they'd have such prime real estate in these companies. Guys, again, thank you very much for choosing the Amplified channel and the Amped Up podcast. There's so many ways you could be listening, enjoying your wrestling content, so many different people and channels. I get it, but you choose BC, and I truly, man, I appreciate you guys so much. And free of charge, doesn't cost a damn thing. Don't forget, smash that up if you don't mind. Helps the algorithm. If not, that's okay too. Nobody's going to lose sleep over it. But if you don't mind, if you're watching on the big screen and the like button isn't readily available, just go on your phone real quick, click on the same channel, the same podcast, the same video you're on now on your phone, and smash the up. That's all you got to do. Appreciate it, man. And the next level of support is that super thanks button down below. Adam Karaxon just sent a 10 spot, I think it was a couple podcasts ago. And I just saw that now. A 10 spot, couple of coffees thrown at the channel by Adam Karaxon. Adam, if you're listening to the podcast, I appreciate the coffees, bro. It's never needed, always appreciated. Thank you for that super. You're thanking BC. BC's thanking you, Adam Karaxon. Always good to see you up in the chat, period. The extra coffees, I was going to say the cherries on top, but the coffee's on top. The whipped cream on the coffee. BC, could you have whipped cream on a coffee? Yeah, you can put whipped cream on a latte if you want to give yourself a treat. Put on the calories. You can take a latte and put whipped cream on it. You never heard of that shit? Yeah, when you're at Starbucks, tell them to put whipped cream on your hazelnut latte. You can thank me later. Even a vanilla latte, man, with some whip sometimes. Hey, cheat day, right? You get out of the gym and you're like, fuck that, man. I'm putting on some calories. Adam, I appreciate you, brother. And of course, the ultimate level of respect to show to the channel, the ultimate level of appreciation is channel membership. On this channel, we call that the gold team. You guys, I hope to, in this podcast, give you guys a full roll call. Every single channel member. And by the way, it's up to date by the hour. The YouTube machine updates channel membership every hour. So anybody who's ex-nayed off the channel membership or anybody who's brand new to channel membership, it's updated every hour. So I have the most complete latest list of channel members. I'll give you guys a full roll call, hopefully in this podcast. If not, spoiler, there might be another podcast later this evening. This might be a double dose of amplification for 4/27/23. How cool is that? I got a little something special planned, and I kind of want to give that video out to you guys later this evening. Special bonus amplification. So my point is, one of these two podcasts today, I hope to give my channel members a full roll call. Nobody else in the community does that. And I don't care how long it takes. Most of the time, it takes several minutes to shout out every single gold card member. But I want you guys to know that on this channel, we appreciate channel members more than anybody else in this community because I ask my channel members a lot more than most would of their channel members. I ask you guys to be the most knowledgeable, to use common sense and logic, not to be a bitch boy Braden, to stand up and show out every single second of the day, be amplified. I ask my channel members a lot, so that's why they are the front lines of the channel. They are the gold team. And I definitely want to give them a shout out as well. So thank you for allowing me a few minutes to just say a big thank you to every single channel member and just channel viewer. Red team, go! My entire red team. Everybody that makes this thing go round and round and makes this channel so fucking special. This is my appreciation to you guys. So, yeah. I don't get to do that at great length a lot of the time. Today, I felt like doing that. It's my channel. I did it. All right. That's all my thank yous. Now, let's get to the news, man. Where do you guys want to start off? Naomi. All right. So, Naomi, latest reports we're hearing is that she is debuting this weekend with a new company. All Elite Wrestling, AEW, is not the company where she is going. Latest reports have Naomi, Trinity Fatu. You might hear me say Naomi a lot because that's how most people know her, and it's easier for me to say that and not have people confused. But Trinity Fatu, the woman behind the Naomi character, she is debuting this weekend, latest reports say anyway, in Impact Wrestling, as we still know today as TNA, but Impact Wrestling, Naomi. I don't know how you guys feel about that. It brings up interesting scenarios, matches. They have a stacked division, so there's a lot of interest there. Is that what you guys would expect or would want for Trinity Fatu? Did you want her to reconcile with WWE? I truly thought there was no way she was showing up anywhere but WWE. I truly thought, especially with her husband right there, Jimmy Uso, that the only home was WWE. Eventually they would, just like Sasha, Mercedes Moné. One day she will absolutely be back in WWE. She knows that. Her best friend Bailey even alluded to that. Said that, not alluded. Said one day she will come back home. This is still home to Mercedes. So you thought the same thing with Trinity. I thought it was a missed opportunity at Royal Rumble not to have Trinity Fatu there. I said by SummerSlam for sure. And still could be. We don't know what type of deal this is with Impact, if this is absolutely going to come to fruition. But that's the latest reports. I tried to do some digging into this. I couldn't get a concrete answer from any of my sources. Unfortunately, they're not close enough to that story. Unfortunately. So I don't have anything to add on solely from my people. But the digging that I did from other reputable sources, I use that a little loosely, they're hearing the same thing. Naomi is scheduled this weekend to show up in Impact Wrestling. Naomi has not made any claims that is not a true report, and she comes many times during her WWE absence the last several months. She has come right out and said that this is false, this is not true, called out Meltzer several times. But there's no indication as of now that that's not true. Now, the interesting thing is if you go to the WWE roster page, it's a public legal page. You just can't promote wrestlers that are no longer in your company or under contract. That's a big lawsuit. They've actually had troubles with that in the past. I've told you guys that. Now, sometimes wrestlers have lingered. So the contract is expired, and I've heard stories of 24, 48 hours of a wrestler still being on there. Sometimes it's like over the weekend. But for the most part, every hour, every 20, every 10 minutes, that thing is updated pretty clutch. But there has been reports that wrestlers have lingered on the page a few extra days. Now, sometimes that could mean that an actual contract did not expire until a certain date, but they were allowed to go somewhere else. Sometimes you don't know. Like Mercedes Moné, she was up on the public roster page right until the very last second. Like when she was going over to New Japan, that is when she was taken off the roster page. I mean, it was down to the second, guys. But For the most part, from what we're told, is the second that your contract actually ends, like the date, not the date that you start with another company, but your actual contract with the company, that's when legally they will take you off the roster page, the public roster page. So the interesting thing is, as of this morning, Thursday, April 27th, the last I checked which was a little over an hour ago, Naomi was still on the roster page. Now you say, well, BC, her debut is not until the weekend anyway, so of course it's still going to be up for now. Well, it's just interesting that if her contract expired like a month ago, for instance, when Naomi was telling people she's no longer with WWE, but they're still putting her there. What they'll do usually is put you on the alumni page. And again, they're updating this all the time throughout the day. It's so weird. I've never seen a situation like Sasha Banks and Naomi, Mercedes Moné and Trinity Fatu, where the roster pages refuse to put them in the alumni or take them off, even with all the controversy surrounding them. I've seen wrestlers taken off immediately when they were out of the company or on their way out with like a month left on their contract. I've seen wrestlers thrown into the alumni, almost like to prove a point. So it's weird what WWE is doing with Naomi and Sasha. And now Trinity Fatu and Mercedes Moné are absolutely making their own waves in the wrestling world elsewhere. Sasha Banks, obviously, Mercedes over in Japan, and Trinity has gone the route of Impact. Now, if you're wondering, I guess we shouldn't be too shocked because she lives right there in Florida, and she does not want to be in Japan like Mercedes does. She has said that time and time again. That's why they debunked the reports that she didn't go over there because of money issues and they weren't paying her enough. No, she just didn't want to be there full time. She likes being in Florida. She likes being with her husband when Jimmy Uso has time off and he's home right there in Florida. She wants to be there. Well, Impact Wrestling is based out of Florida. 98, 99% of all their shows, Florida. Right there, Orlando. So, I mean, she's going to get paid a good amount of money. She don't got to do travel. And she gets to get back to doing what she loves and hopefully be treated correctly. There's a lot of good matches that she can be set up with here, man. If Mickie James is not done, and Mickie James does indeed come back, Mickie James versus Naomi, outside of a WWE ring, let them rock for 22 minutes, man, that could be completely unbelievable. Jordan Grace versus Naomi, what? Purrazzo versus Naomi, or I'm sorry, it's Trinity Fatu. I got to get out of the Naomi thing myself. Trinity versus Deanna. Could you imagine, man? I would love to see Gail Kim, who's running things over in AEW, or one of the people heading things, for the females anyway. I would love to see like Gail Kim come out and do another match. That'd be amazing. Gail Kim, Trinity. I know that's not going to happen. All right, Robert Irvine, Gail Kim's husband. I love Robert Irvine on Restaurant Impossible. You ever see Restaurant Impossible on the Food Network? It's a great show, man. Gail Kim's husband is this tough chef, and he's always yelling at people that can't run their restaurant correctly. It's called Restaurant. He tries to save the restaurant. Gail Kim's husband, phenomenal. She met him while doing a WWE Restaurant Impossible. I think then it was called Dinner Impossible, and they have to make this big elaborate buffet meal in like 30 minutes or something. I forgot what it was. But Gail was representing WWE, and that's how they met. And anyway, have him fucking in there, man. Special guest referee. Let's do this. I just miss seeing Gail Kim in action. Anyway, Impact opens up all these new doors, all these new possibilities. I'm okay with it. BC might actually have to watch some Impact Wrestling now because I'm going to be so in tune to what Trinity is doing. I'm a big fan of Trinity, and I just think she's one of the best female wrestlers, man. She really is, guys. She just underrated and never got the love that she deserved because the WWE, the company, never really gave it to her. I never understood it. You know, we anoint Charlie Flair as a 87-time champion, whatever she is. Slight exaggeration. But we anoint her as the goddess of pro wrestling for females, and I'm not seeing it, She's good, no doubt. Charlie is good. Her selling is at like 40%, and I'm being generous. Tiffany Stratton said she has to work on her selling. That's why she wants to stay in NXT. That is so awesome for her to admit that. Well, Charlie Flair ain't much better. She doesn't like to sell. It's like Nia Jax. They hate it. Like Thunder Rosa. They hate selling. So, that's part of being a good wrestler, though. So you can't just take good offense and shitty selling and say, she's the best still. No, selling, that's a problem. No connecting with the fans. Charlie Flair still to this day doesn't connect with fans. For the majority of fans anyway. That's a problem. Naomi did. Naomi was just as good, if not a better actual wrestler, guys. Do you realize that? Athleticism, Naomi clearly defeats Charlie. Athleticism, Charlie does a moonsault and did a cartwheel in her entrances in NXT. That's it. That's all we've ever seen athletic-wise. Naomi, have you seen what she did in Royal Rumbles? I mean, she's using the fucking barricade as a balance beam. She's doing fucking handstands from the commentary table to the steel steps into the ring. I mean, the athleticism. She's a human highlight reel in all of her matches. So athleticism goes to Naomi. Even if by a fraction, it still goes to Naomi. Wrestling-wise, I see nothing out of Charlie that's better than Naomi. Connection-wise, I don't see anything that Charlie's doing that connects any more than Naomi. Marketability, Naomi clearly wins out. You could have done so much with the Glow theme, but Vince McMahon didn't want to push Naomi to that level because he knew she would out-market, out-promote, outwork, numbers-wise, Charlie Flair and everybody else. The Glow in the Dark title, that Glow title, not even just Glow in the Dark, Glow title, man, that she brought to the house show and got punished for. If this was anybody else, she would be respected for that. She would be thanked. We're going to put that in rotation on shop.com and make millions. That got so much interest in buzz. Everybody wanted the Glow title after that live event. And instead she got punished and you never saw any inkling of a Glow title. Never even a mention. You could have done so much marketing with Naomi. They chose not to. Anyway, guys, that's the Naomi sitch. It's sad that she never got her just due in WWE. In fact, we talk about Charlie having, I'm just using Charlie as an example because she's put on the pedestal in WWE. So she's always going to be the one that we have to compare to. Just so you guys know. So, we anoint her, I think it's 14 championships, if I'm not being a little ridiculous. 14, I think, is an actual number. Do you guys realize that Naomi's been there years longer than Charlotte? Years longer. At least 10. I think Charlie's been there 7 or 8. Main roster. Naomi at least like 10. Do you guys realize Naomi's only had 2 world titles? For women's championships? 2. Charlie has 14. So you're telling me that even if you think Charlie is better than Naomi, you're telling me she's 14-2 better? No, that's telling you that the machine didn't want to get behind one and totally put the rockets with an S, several rockets, on another female's back. That's bullshit, guys. It's bullshit. So I guess my point here is this is not what I expected from Trinity Fatu, Impact Wrestling, but I guess I shouldn't be too shocked. It works for her. She's going to go somewhere where she believes she will be respected, and I feel that she is going to be catapulted to the top where she belongs. Make a name for yourself. Go whoop some ass to Trinity Fatu. Stay amplified. Love it. That's the latest. We'll find out if it absolutely comes to fruition or if she comes out later today, tomorrow, and says, no, it's bullshit. We'll see if WWE rosters page fucking takes her off finally, adds her to the alumni section. Did they allow her to wrestle elsewhere until the contract ends? Maybe the contract ends early May and she wants to start on this weekend's... Who knows, man? We'll find out more. I'm going to stay on top of this story, guys. Switching gears over to Roddy Strong, the new AEW talent. Debuted on Wednesday night. Here we go again, man. Another wrestler becomes all elite. Salute to Roddy, man. I don't think anybody doesn't respect Roddy or want the best for him. It's a weird signee because Tony Khan's roster is so imploded right now. Not imploded, it's bloated. If it gets too bloated, it will implode. There you go. That's what I should have said. It's bloated. We all know that, right? You got to be careful how many individuals you're putting on your ship. Because you want the ship to do what it was built for. You want it to get to point A to point B, right? swim the shores and get to fucking, or swim the waters, get to shore. But you don't want to fit too many people on the ship to where it has an adverse effect and it starts to sink, right? And if you put too much weight on a ship, it will sink. Tony Khan's got to be careful, man. I know you got a Saturday show coming, you know, and we're talking about splitting rosters because a lot of the roster, I can't even still fathom this. A lot of the roster doesn't want to work with one of the talents, Phil Brooks, CM Punk. So they're thinking about splitting it up, and whoever wants to work with Phillip, they can go on Saturdays. It's so weird, man. I don't even fucking understand that. But anyway, so maybe they're going to split the ship in half, right? And fucking see if two sides of a ship can get to the same destination. Get to the same shore relatively on at the same time frame. I don't know what Tony Khan's doing, but he added another person this Wednesday. His name is Roddy Strong. Now, a lot of you guys are going, who? Tapping into your best New Day impression. Listen, Roddy Strong is a good wrestler. He's been doing this a lot longer than you guys think, actually. In fact, what's Roddy's age? Not trying to put the dude on blast age-wise, but I would like to see, because he's been doing this a lot longer than people think. I think some people think he's only had a few years, NXT, so he's like maybe 28, 29. No, Roddy Strong is 40 years old. 39, my bad, guys. He's going to be 40 July. So in 3 months, he'll be 40. 39 years old. So you're talking about a 40-year-old dude for all intents and purposes. 40 years of age in July. This is a dude that's been doing this a while, and a lot of people do believe that he's been, for the most part, a flop, right? Just one of Adam Cole's boys in NXT. And when he got his own run, I believe it was with Diamond Mine, and he was running that ship, a lot of people looked at that as ultimately a flop. So what happened was, May of last year, guys, if I got my time frame correct, which I believe I do, or at least the most part, May of last year, Roddy Strong asked for his release, was not granted it. Now, that was odd to me, because we're acting like, what, Roddy Strong is like a Stone Cold? You can give this guy his release. But 3 H's, Paul Levesque, doofus son-in-law, and VKM, stubborn bastard from Stamford, Connecticut, both of them are petty, and they don't like to grant releases. So you saw that with McMahon and Ali recently, right? Ali asked for his request. Vince McMahon personally said no. We heard that Roddy Strong personally asked Paul Levesque for his release, and Paul's like, I don't think we can do that. I'll run it by Vince, but I don't think so. Well, how about you get your balls and reattach them? Get them from Stephanie's purse, put them on you, and fucking make sure that this guy who you say you always look out for, make sure he's happy, man. Don't keep him in a prison when he shouldn't have had the sentence. No, Paul Levesque's just like, I don't think we can do it, buddy. Hang in there. And the poor guy had to fucking sit there. And I don't think we've even seen Roddy. That was May of 2022. Now, I don't even think we've seen Roddy since August of 2022. I could be wrong, but not by much. We have not seen him since, I believe, August of last year. Nobody knew what was going on. The guy was just not happy. He wanted out, and they would not let him out of prison. Would not let him go. So, that brings me to, you know what? Actually, you know what we're going to do? What I would like to do, this is going to be interesting. I want to see him on the roster page, man. Did they add him to the alumni section? Let's see, bro. Let's see how accurate this is. All right. First, what I'll do is I'll check the NXT section of the public roster page. Where are you at, Roddy Strong? Let's see, man. Did they move him yet? Roddy Strong, this is big, guys. No, wait, I don't see him. Oh, hold on. Let's check the alumni section. They may have moved him. See, this is how fast they act, guys. Let's go to the alumni section, see if Roddy Strong is there. Hold on, guys. You guys are getting up to the date information right now on this podcast, man. There's a lot in the alumni section, so it takes a while. He might have already been moved, man, overnight. We're on the P's. We're getting to the R's, guys. I promise. There we are. We're here. Roddy Strong has been removed. He is now in the alumni section. That's what I mean about the public roster page. They don't fuck around legally. They're not allowed to fuck around. That's why the Naomi situation is interesting. Oh, it's good to see Marty Jannetty in there, too. There's so many old-timers. I love seeing that. Bam Bam Bigelow. Adam Bomb. Anybody remember Adam Bomb? Remember Adam Rose? Don't be a rosebud. No, don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud. Anyway, I love the alumni section. Anyway, Roddy Strong is officially there. Man, how about that shit? We just found that out together. I told you, I'm not fucking around, man. They don't fuck around with the roster pages. The second you somewhere else, they got to take you out. Unless Roddy was still under contract and they allowed him to do that 2 weeks early, and then you would see him still on the actual page. So Roddy Strong has been removed by WWE officially since the debut. So my point is, he was not happy for the longest time. Keeping his mouth shut. Now I'm sure you're going to see fucking tell-all interviews probably. Who knows? I don't know if he wants to bash WWE. Maybe he just trashes Vince and makes Triple H sound like a fucking saint. Who knows? But he debuted Wednesday night in the same way you would think, right? Getting a beat down by JAS is Adam Cole, baby. And here comes Roddy. So he's basically just reforming the band. It's like a 1980s band that has been dismantled 17 times, but they keep getting back together. That's going to be the Undisputed Era. For those of you that don't know, before Diamond Mine, Roddy Strong was attached to the Undisputed Era, and Adam Cole, baby. Now, all they're missing now is Bobby Fish, who was not happy in AEW, so he left. But right now, Roddy Strong is there. Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. O'Reilly said something weird recently. He said, I wouldn't even have the career I have if not for Adam. No, I think he said, I don't know, something about his career wouldn't be anything without Adam Cole. You can't say that, man. You could say it helped out. But you can never put your whole career on one other person. That's not saying a lot about you. I didn't like that line from Kyle. I understood what he meant, I believe. You got to be careful with that shit. You know, you got to be confident that you're a lead man and not just a background player. You could be the star and not just background. But everybody's there. All you got to get now is Bobby Fish. That shouldn't be too hard. I mean, if you can bring Phil Brooks back after he literally turned your locker room upside down, and you can bring him back, you could bring a Fish back. So Roddy is there. Now, the headlines on this debut was, I mean, one of them said, AEW shocks the world with Roddy Strong debut. Did he really shock the world? I mean, it was a part of the wrestling world on Wednesday night, like a small part. I don't think it shocked anybody. I don't think Roddy Strong is that. I mean, it's going to take a little bit more than that to shock the wrestling world. I mean, Roddy Strong never was truly over, never was going to get far on the main roster. You guys know that. Not even just with Vince, but even with 3H's running the roster, even at half mass. If Paul Levesque is running 50% of these shows, 25, either way, you're seeing how Munchkin, Mia Yim is being booked, Candice LeRae, and Dexter Loomis, and Johnny Gargano before he got injured, Tommaso before he got injured. Bronson Reed is doing something finally with Bob Lashley. I don't know how many people are that intrigued with it, but something finally. But Bronson, they didn't have a plan for him when he came up. Well, that was under 3H's thumbs. I don't know what you thought. I mean, look at Johnny Gargano. Do you think fucking Roddy Strong is going to catapult to the top of the main roster? He barely got anything in NXT, and when he did, he had to be part of a faction that could be the backbone to it. And in Undisputed Era's case, he had to have the lead man in front of him like Adam Cole, baby. And on top of that, he's only 5'9" and a half tops, 195 pounds. I just don't know what people... I don't know what people are expecting on a roster that AEW has with 170 people on that roster. Superstars that can't even get pro wrestlers, elaborate pro wrestlers that can't even get TV time. And Roddy Strong is another debut. And Tony Khan an hour later is putting up the graphic. Roddy is all elite. You know, most of the wrestling world is going to say, that's a good pickup, man. It's going to be interesting. All right, man. I mean, that roster is so bloated. I don't know. I don't know if 10-minute Roddy Strong matches is what Dynamite needs to be truly Dynamite. I don't know if Roddy Strong matches is what's going to pull viewers to Collision on Saturday nights. I know that's harsh because we respect Roddy, want the best for him. Right? And you're probably already thinking, oh, Roddy versus this guy will be good and this guy will be great. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm just being honest, guys. You brought in Roddy to take more TV time from a lot of wrestlers that can't even get the TV time. Much less the ratings are going backwards, and they have been. And Roddy Strong is now going to be 10 to 15 minutes of your TV time now. 1/8 of your Dynamite will now be Roddy? Or will he not be wrestling 10-minute matches? I'm asking the real questions, guys. We could easily just not address the elephant in the room, right? And just go, wow, another great signing. Great matches to come, man. Bangers. We're going to have bangers and clangers. I'm the only podcaster that's going to ask the real questions. Is this really moving the needle at all? Is this really intriguing? A month from now, 2 months from now? I don't see it. The positive I see here is that they get to protect Adam Cole and all the concussions that he had and the bad concussions. And he's just not fully healthy. And we don't know if he's fully ever going to be because that's always going to be an issue. But so what you're doing is you're surrounding him with a lot of situations where he can be in tag matches, 6-man tags. You can put him in a group like Undisputed Era in AEW, and you could protect Adam Cole. That's kind of sad that we're even saying that we'll never truly get the Adam Cole that we once had. So I guess you're protecting Cole, in which case even then it's kind of sad that Roddy is just a protection man and just a background player. I don't know. I have questions, guys. I'm just being, hey, it's a podcast. I'm not just going to look at everything as hunky-dory. You know, did he need a change of scenery? Yeah. Did AEW need Roddy Strong? Are they going to benefit from Roddy Strong? Time will tell, man, right? I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It's just amazing that every week we're seeing 2 to 3 new wrestlers join All Elite Wrestling. At some point, people are going to have to start jumping off the ship because it's so crowded. So crowded that not everybody is going to be able to get fed. Not everyone's going to be able to eat. Not everyone's going to get water. They're going to have to jump off the ship to try to fucking get food, fish, water from the fucking ocean. It's too full. And when something is too full, not everybody's going to eat. Or at least not properly. Not everybody's going to get the attention or the time that they deserve or need. Because there's so many motherfuckers on the roster. That's the biggest problem here. But to Roddy, to AEW, to that relationship, we're hoping for the best. Entertain. Move that needle. Force that needle to move. Force people like BC and so many others to watch that product. Watch those segments. Be intrigued. Put us to the end of our seats. And we'll be singing a different tune. I hope we are, man. I really do wish the best for them. There's just a lot of negatives that come with this. And they have to be addressed. And the problem is every time we see this and we raise these questions and we talk about these negatives, they never get addressed. Instead, we swipe it underneath the rug. And we bring in more people. And we just repeat the vicious cycle. It's rinse and repeat with AEW. Salute, though, to Roddy, man. It's good to at least see him again. It's been a long time. We knew he wasn't happy. Maybe this will bring back that smile. I'm going to go back to AEW in just a few minutes. I want to talk NXT's rating real quick. I want to switch the vibe a little bit. NXT came to you with Spring Breakin this past Tuesday night, a big themed event. And, you know, this was big because it's not just setting up what's going to happen May 27th when they go head-to-head with a Double or Nothing with their premium live event, May 27th. Big double promotional battle there. Double or Nothing AEW and NXT's coming at you. Same time slot, same day from what we're hearing. But more than that, it's setting up the draft. That's what NXT Spring Breakin did this past Tuesday. They set up a lot of the draft, a lot of the losses, some of the winners. You started to get a clear picture of who most certainly, I guess that's the best way to put it, most certainly, we're not 100%, but should be getting the call up. Or it looks like is getting called up Friday and Monday for the draft on the main roster. NXT Spring Breakin. It was a big event. Did the numbers show that? Did enough people feel like this was a big event? Spring Breakin pulled 569,000 viewers last week. That's not a good number. 569,000. They were back ruffling around the 555 that they were at several times in the past several months. 569,000 last week. This week, Spring Breakin brought in 647,000 viewers. Just over 647. So they were fucking around with 650 when they were just at 569 last week. That is just over 78,000 more viewers this week. That is a lot when you're looking at 569 of a total audience last week. That means that's 1/7-ish. A seventh of your audience more than last week. Because if you look at 78,000, say that's 80, right? 80, 160, 240, 320, 480, 560, right? 7 times 80,000 would get you to about 560,000. So that's a seventh more of an audience. That's pretty fucking good. To bring in nearly 80,000 more viewers, and that was actually a good show. I'm hoping that that sticks, and that they can at least next week be at about 600,000. If you can keep about 30,000 of those viewers that tuned in out of the 80 this past week, and you can keep at least 30 of that 80, that's success. Get to that 6 and keep their attention. Make sure you're captivating them, which means Michael Hickenbottom, Shawn Michaels, he's going to have his work cut out for him next Tuesday because he's going to have to produce just as good of a show that he produced this week without the theme. Because this show was fucking good. The beatdown backstage with Dijak. Still call him Dijakovic. That was badass on Dragunov, man. Badass. I mean, those are the type of backstage beatdowns you want to see. The family, Stax and D'Angelo and Pretty Deadly, and putting them in the trunk, driving them to the fucking river. That was fucking epic. I missed that shit on the main roster. Gigi flipping out on commentary. Roxy eating a pin, looking up at the lights, but this could be the trampoline, the catapult to the main roster. I don't know if that's good or bad. Indy Hartwell fighting through that ankle injury, coming back and defeating Roxy. Damn, Braun Breaker looking like a fucking beast. Putting the fucking boots to Chase University as a whole, and then coming out and beating the shit out of Trick and Mello. Putting them through the staging area. Cora Jade continues to grow and prosper. I mean, that was a show. And when you produce a good show, that's what you get for people going on. It's the playoffs. That's why the ratings suck. Guys, NXT went up 80,000 viewers, 78 plus. They went up. When you produce a good show, it doesn't matter what the competition is. We're not even saying beat the competition outright if it's a playoff. That's fine. We're saying produce better numbers than what you're doing. Give a fuck more. Produce a better show for your fans. Give the talent the respect they deserve and give them good segments. Quality, creative. And we all win. The company more than anybody. Too many times they curl up in a ball and they hide in the corner until the playoffs are over or Monday Night Football is over. Or the badminton championships or the Monopoly finals. No. Every week, produce great content. You'll get the results. NXT decided to fight playoffs this week. Fight the fucking NHL playoffs or NBA playoffs or whatever the fuck else they were fighting. They decided to go to war with them with that themed event, and they gained viewers. What a concept. BC always tells you, when you give a fuck and you produce a good show, you'll get the results. Now it's just about sticking with it. There's been a thing in NXT especially where you see people think it's a good show and all that, but then they instantly they forget about it the next week because there's not that stability of great shows consistently to them or reason to watch them. Many people say NXT is consistently great. It's just getting people to watch. They're not in that habit. is the best way to put it. I always say, like, Raw, we watch out of habit and hope. Habit every Monday, and it's been horrible for 10 years, but we still watch because it's a habit, and we're hoping it gets better. We watch out of habit and hope. We're not there with NXT, right? The habit has been broken. So even when you get a really good show, that it's not a habit to watch. That's what we have to fix. And I'm hoping that they can do that, because if there's ever a springboard show, it was this past Tuesday. BC was able to catch it, thankfully. Most of it, anyway. I think I only missed like 12 minutes. I got to watch the whole show. Not live, but that's okay. I got to watch it. And I was like, damn, this is a good show, man. At least this week was. So 647,000, nearly 80,000 plus. That's what you want to see, bro. To put that in comparison, guys, I mean, people just don't even give NXT a second look these days, sadly. But AEW, we'll see what they pull for ratings this week. But as of last week and in the last several weeks, the last several months, they've been hanging under 850. We've seen them at 824, 827, 833. So they're in the young 800,000s for viewership. That's AEW Dynamite, the second biggest promotion in the States. And they're fucking around with 800,000 viewers. Guys, NXT just pulled nearly 650. So to give you a comparison, they're not that far off from Dynamite, $150, $175. Still a lot of viewers, but my point is, man, people are thinking NXT is an afterthought and that AEW is the second coming and their real competition to Vince's Raw and SmackDown. NXT is there, bro. It takes one big shift, one big thing, and that could tilt. Could you imagine if Dynamite's sitting at 750 and NXT's at 750? Just saying, bro. Now I want to switch back over. So congrats to NXT. That's a huge bump up, man, and they deserve that. Good show. We'll see if that translates into next week. Back over to AEW. And we'll go back to WWE for those who are like, well, we haven't talked about WWE in a minute, BC. We're going to talk about that. Trust me, the lawsuit and all that. Unfortunately, we have to talk about that. But back to AEW, a lot of fans are befuddled over the main event last night. It was the four pillars, Sammy and Darby, two of the four pillars, in a main event. Now, we talked in yesterday's podcast about the tweet and delete from MJF. He put out there about bangers, and they don't pay the medical bills, and bangers do not get you truly over, and they're just not worth it. And he's right. You guys know on this channel how we feel about bangers. We don't even say that. We try not to say that word often on this channel. I even had to switch it to clangers because the word bangers gets me fucking nauseous because we overused it in the wrestling world. And every match that has cool sequences and high-flying octane action becomes a banger. It's pathetic. So I love how MJF just told the truth. Unfortunately, he had to delete that. And I think that's the roster getting kind of pissed off. Tony Khan probably asked him, dude, what are you doing? Take that down, please. Because you had a main event like Sammy and Darby. And what kind of style did you think they were going to wrestle? You know it was going to be a lot of out of the norm, out of the box, wow factor maneuvers to get the fans going. This is awesome. And all those chants, fight forever. I don't think we got them last night, but it's those type of, you're trying to get the 5 stars out of Davey Meltzer. You know what I mean? That was going to be Sammy and Darby, or at least on paper, that's what people are thinking. And here MJF is like, dude, that style is going to get you nowhere but in the fucking hospital. Be smarter. Cut the bullshit. So they're like, wait, our main event is Darby Sammy, and you're saying that now, MJF? So that ended up being deleted pretty quickly. So you fast forward, and of course, Sammy and MJF are in this little story together where it's almost like Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, but on crack, right? They're kissing each other on screen and giving bro hugs, or a little bit deeper than a bro hug. I don't even fucking know what they're doing, but it's funny. I don't mind this with Sammy and MJF. I know a lot of people are like, what are you doing? I think it works with these two. I don't know where it's going, but that's what she said. But we'll see, man. I don't know. It was just funny that MJF would say that knowing that Sammy and Darby were about to wrestle the next night. Or maybe he forgot about that. But that was your main event. It was a mini tournament for the last couple of weeks. And whoever wins this little thing with the pillars, they're going to be the number one contender, take on MJF at Double or Nothing, May 27th. But the thing is, when last night went off the air, there was a little schmozzery, right? And Sammy ends up winning this thing. Jungle Boy comes down to the ring, chases off Sammy and MJF after a post-match beating on Darby. Jungle Boy for the save. Darby's pissed off at Jungle Boy because he didn't come out sooner. Everybody's at war with one another, except for Sammy and MJF. They're hugging up on the stage still, exchanging gifts. Sammy got fucking MJF vest. MJF got Sammy a scarf. Tony Schiavone gets on the mic to end the show and says, I've just got off the phone with Tony Khan, and he tells me that next week we're going to have a tag match. And he says we're going to have MJF and Sammy versus Jungle Boy and Darby. And if Darby and Jungle Boy win, they are added to the main event at Double or Nothing for a 4-way match. That was the same match that was announced, or at least we knew we were getting anyway, if it wasn't officially announced, a few weeks ago. We already saw that happening. Then you do this whole thing because we're thinking, okay, they just want to do a straight up one-on-one. We can respect that. Most of us wrestling fans are done with these triple threats and fatal 4-ways, and it's just nonstop. We're always having multi-man schmaz matches because nobody wants to get creative and they're not doing business correctly, and it's not really elevating anybody with these triple threats, fucking 4-way matches, 5-way, 6-way, 10-man matches. It's not working. So we said, okay, we'll do the one-on-one. We'll waste a few weeks to fucking come up with this stupid mini tournament. And when it was all said and done, we know that Darby and Jungle Boy are winning this match next week, and we're just going right back to the 4-way. It's weird. Now, some people are going to go, well, they got creative. They went a roundabout way, basically. You just spent a month of bullshit. After next week, it'll be a full month of circling around the wagon and getting to the same fucking point that we knew we had a month ago. The fucking 4-way. That's not creative. That's not interesting. You take the 4 dudes and you create a fun story. If this is a fun story to you, wow, man, is your bar pretty fucking low? And I'm not even knocking that. It would be pretty cool, I think, if all of our fucking bar was that low, because then we could just accept everything. We wouldn't even need logic and common sense. That's fun to you? That's a storyline? Wow, they had a mini tournament, and then it turned into the same 4 guys afterwards, because they won a tag match. This is fucking amazing, basically. This is right up there with the Bloodline and Sami Zayn. So anyway, this isn't just basic. I'm telling you what a lot of the wrestling world was baffled by this decision. As is BC. I wish I could shed some light on it for you. I don't even think Tony Khan understands what the fuck he's doing with this. It's wild to me that we're going to end up with the same fucking situation we had a month ago. You can't make it up. I think what was funnier was, I feel bad for him. Bryan Danielson, he cut a promo last night. And, was that the main event, by the way, or was Danielson? No, that wasn't the main event. Sammy and Darby started hour 2. That wasn't the main event. Because the main event ended up being Kenny Omega and Takeshita in tag action. But, again, Butcher and Blade, by the way. You want to stick around 2 hours on prime time on your Wednesday night to see Butcher and Blade. Said not many wrestling fans ever. But Bryan Danielson comes out. He's on the mic. And he's like, Takeshita, when you train with the elite, and he meant to say BCC, Blackpool Combat Club, but he fucked up, and he said elite, and the crowd let him have it. They were not letting him off the hook, bro. And he looked to the crowd, he kind of got off his game, he started to shout a little more, he went, I mean the BCC! That was hilarious. And then Mox puts a screwdriver to the dome piece of Takeshita to end the show. I don't know. Was it one of AEW's better shows? No, but it had its moments. But I don't know. I think that's the same thing I say with WWE and Vince McMahon and 3 H's. I say the same thing in AEW. I just don't understand what the bosses are doing. Like, I don't understand what Tony Khan's really trying to gain here. It's almost like they're just simplify things and you're going to have a great product. WWE and AEW. And it's almost like they complicate it. It's internal sabotage. And they complicate things so much to the point where things either don't make sense, they're baffling, or it's just bad. some of these decisions and placement of matches and who's in main events, and it's just weird to me. And you say, well, then start your own promotion if you don't like it. Give me the billions like Tony Khan was given. Tony Khan was not a self-made billionaire, guys. I think you're mistaking if you think he was. He's a hard worker. He works hard for his dad's Jacksonville Jaguars teams, the soccer organization as well, and a bunch of other things. That's nowhere near a billionaire. He's not a self-made billionaire. He's not even a fucking billionaire. But his father is a multi-billionaire. And he was given the promotion from his father. That's just what happened, guys. So, get off your high horse. I would love to start my own promotion. Give me the billions of dollars like Tony was given. But he was. And we have to tell him when the shit is just not good or should be and could be better. Just listen. I don't know. Many fans baffled that we're circling the wagon. And after a month, after next week, it'll be a full month, we're going to come right back to where we were from the beginning. The 4-way title match at Double or Nothing. Too funny, man. All right, guys, it's time to talk about this. I haven't read this yet. We're clearly going over an hour on this podcast, and I would like to give you guys another podcast later in the evening, so we'll see if we can do that. But I have to read this report. I haven't read it yet. This is a lawsuit against WWE, and it's a heavy one. It's claiming well, let's read this. You'll see how severe this one is for WWE, and we'll see if this person, Brittany Abrams, has a case. It's a former writer for WWE, Brittany Abrams. This is a report. I'm going to read this from Bloomberg Law. All right, okay, this is word for word from Bloomberg Law, and Annalise Gilbert has this report. I will read this from, again, Annalise Gilbert. Oh, and Mike Leonard, the legal reporter who backed up Annalise's report. Brittany Abrams is suing WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment Inc., Vince McMahon, and other executives allegedly discriminated and retaliated against a black female writer for objecting to offensively racist and stereotypical jargon, end quote, used in scripts of black wrestlers, including Bianca Belair and Apollo Crews, according to a new lawsuit. Brittany Abrams' multiple complaints were ignored, and she was protectually terminated for taking home a WrestleMania-branded chair, according to the complaint filed in the U.S. District Court of the Eastern District of New York on Monday. Abrams began writing for WWE SmackDown and WWE Monday Night Raw in 2020, according to the complaint. She complained of racial and gender stereotypes in scripts, including ones instructing Bianca Belair to say, and I quote, "Uh-oh, don't make me take my earrings off and beat your ass," and Apollo Crews to speak with a stereotypical and exaggerated Nigerian accent, but was rebuffed when making her complaints. WWE didn't immediately respond to Bloomberg Law's request for comment. Under harmful stereotypes, she was allegedly subject to a number of racist pitches after complaining. On a Slack thread that Mr. McMahon and his daughter Stephanie McMahon were included on, other writers suggested a black male wrestler should dress in drag. We believe that's Scripps in NXT, formerly known as Reggie. We believe that's who they're talking about. A black male wrestler should dress in drag. Only when a white writer noted that doing so could perpetuate harmful stereotypes that would offend viewers was the pitch finally scrapped. On another occasion, a writer allegedly proposed that a Muslim wrestler's secret in a script would be that he was behind the 9/11 attacks. We believe that to be Mansoor or Mansoor, whatever he's called today. We believe that is who they are talking about for that. That is what multiple reports have said. So they wanted him to be behind the attacks from September 11th. I mean, that's, even if you're joking around, but you can't do that in a billion-dollar conglomerate company, bro. I don't know what the fuck that dude was thinking. Everything I'm here, if any of this is true, I mean, this is just mind-boggling to me. Abrams and other writers complained about the comments, to which Vice President Christine Labrano allegedly responded, and I quote, "Wacky things are said in the writer's room all the time. And I know, but look at the waves we're making in the company. 4 years ago, no woman worked on the writers' team." So she's trying to complain, and the Vice President, Christine Labrano, is like, it's the writer's room. We're just throwing shit out there. Some of it's wacky, some of it's just in fun, so it keeps us from going insane. And she's right, by the way. I've been in writer's room. I'm a writer myself. I'm telling you that you just throw wacky shit out there. Never would you attach certain stereotypes to such events that hold such great magnitude so negatively. Like September 11th, like that wouldn't even cross BC's mind, and I'm far from on a high horse. I assure you of that. I assure you. But some of this shit you just don't say, man. Not because it's 2023 and everybody's turning into a pansy bitch. No, it's because it's respectful not to say stupid shit like that. So I don't know, man. Abrams continued to oppose racist, sexist pitches, she said, and was fired in retaliation in April 2022. WWE fired her for taking her WrestleMania 38 branded chair, but the practice was allegedly a common practice that white male writers weren't punished for. So it sounds like she's turning this into like a race thing where I'm guessing... her name, let me get her name. Brittany Abrams was a black female writer. So she's kind of turning this a little bit more to, the white writers got away with everything and I got fired for taking my chair. And I think they were just waiting for one little thing to get me out of there because I opposed their racist and stereotypical fucking pitches. There you go. I'm putting this into a ball for you guys. So, let me see here where we left off. So she takes the chair, she gets fired. She is now seeking reinstatement, damages, declaratory judgment, and an injunction restraining defendants from engaging in such unlawful conduct. Reinstate? Why would you want to go fucking back there? I don't think WWE would want her back there. I mean, is that even a... Also alleged in this, guys, was so Apollo was a part of this. Reggie Scripps, Mansoor was involved in this. Bianca Belair again involved in this. Apparently, I read something, guys. Before this is my first time actually reading the report. This was live, so thanks for sticking with me there, man. I had to go a little slower because I'm trying to contemplate everything as I'm reading it. But I saw something late, like past midnight. It was a quote from Bianca that was from the report, and it said Bianca was like, "They have me trying to say stupid shit like that all the..." Not shit. She didn't say the swear, but she said they have me trying to do that line all the time. "Don't make me take my earrings off and beat your ass." Bianca was like, "They have me saying that all the time, and I never do it, and they keep putting it in the script," almost like trying to fuck with her, basically. So Bianca was getting pissed off. That's in the I don't know what it's called, man. It's like it's deeper into the actual lawsuit. There's a name for it, but it actually tells you like what the defendants were saying and what people like Bianca, like this girl Brittany, was talking about conversation she would have with like Bianca Belair and stuff. So that's when I read that, I was kind of like, I have to talk about this on the next podcast, man. And I'll go through the whole story with my unit live. So yeah, I don't know. There's much more. I mean, that's the gist of this lawsuit, guys. So we're going to find out more. I can't speak too much about it because you don't know. It's a he said, she said right now until we find out more info. That's what juries are for. That's what that's what the legal process is for, and we'll find out. WWE doesn't want to comment on it right now. That's not like them. Usually they say some stupid shit, defend themselves, something. No, they did not. Their comment was, we ain't commenting. That's the latest we're hearing. Now, by the time you guys get this podcast, maybe they say something. By the time we get to the next podcast, if I'm able to do another one this evening, maybe we'll have more info. But as of now, that's what we're hearing. That's a pretty big lawsuit. I mean, you're making pretty big claims there that WWE was acting negligent, reckless, careless, racist, sexist. That's pretty big, man. So I'll try to find out more, man. That's a big lawsuit that WWE is currently undertaking. So we're going to find out more on that. If she didn't get fired from taking a chair, was she okay still, like you were hired in 2020, WrestleMania, okay, I guess she was only there about a year, right? 2 years maybe, 38 is when she got fired. I mean, you didn't resign, it wasn't bad enough for you to quit or anything. Was she just keeping all of this for personal records and like creating her own case the whole time? Was she happy being there and it wasn't bad enough to quit, and once you got fired, you're like, I want to be back there? You know what I mean? Like, you have to question some of her as well until we find out more info. But it's not hard to believe that the company is that negligent and stupid, and that type of that type of discourse is being talked about in these rooms. It's not that shocking. WWE, Vince McMahon has created that fucking atmosphere, that culture. It starts right at the top. And if you think Paul Levesque is any better, stop. Stop. Guys, I want to end it with this, man. Comcast is now claiming that Peacock subs are at about 22 million right now. $704 million loss in the quarter, but up 456 from last year's quarter. Comcast says that Peacock subscribers are up 60% year over year for Q1. 60%. That's massive. And you got to believe that WrestleMania, the two-night event, catapulted them 60%. Somebody recently said, I forgot who it was, but they said if Peacock loses WWE, Peacock is finished. And I laughed because I'm like, no, nothing should hang on one thing. But I was kind of like, actually, Peacock is struggling right now, and WWE is the only thing that's putting them, literally put Peacock on their shoulders. So maybe that is true. Guys, over an hour, and we might have another one later. Definitely a lot of content tomorrow. I hope to be live with you guys for SmackDown tomorrow night. That would be pretty fucking cool to end April the right way and watch with my entire red team, gold team, my entire unit. So I hope to do that tomorrow night. We'll see. But stay subscribed and notified. I might have bonus amplification later this evening. Either way, this has been one fucking awesome, amped up podcast, man. Thanks for spending some of your Thursday with BC. And we hope to do a little bit more later. Hopefully. For now, guys, top guy, I'm out. Think, be, live, amped always. Until next time. And there will be a next time. BC saying check you.